All right, so today I thought we'd do something different. We're always walking through multiple homes a week and taking a look at it and walking through them with potential buyers. And so I wanted to talk about some of the things that I try to focus on. I guess I don't need these. Okay. So as I was saying, so I wanted to do a video about what are the things we focus on when we're walking through a house, especially older homes. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about new construction because right now, a lot of these new developers are offering interest buy downs or they're offering closing costs and all of that. So that could be a great option for a lot of buyers who are really focused on that monthly expense and what their interest rate is. But not everyone wants a new construction home or wants to live in a neighborhood, or they tend to be in a smaller lot and all of that. So when you're looking at older homes, there's quite a few things that you should really focus on. And that's what we're going to do today. As soon as you pull up, you got to start from the exterior. You're going to roam around and focus on a couple things. So right off the bat, you want to take a look at the roof. Sometimes it's hard to tell from when standing out on the street, but any information or anything you can tell of the roof would be helpful. Here you can see that it's a metal roof. They tend to obviously last a lot longer than a shingle roof, which is great, but you want to make sure that everything looks like it's installed correctly and it's straight. You got an even pattern of the screws, that sort of thing. Then you're going to look at gutters. We do have gutters here. A lot of homes don't have gutters, but what you want to look at with the gutters specifically is how they run out. So obviously this is, go ahead and connect that, but you don't want gutters to just be cut off up here and dropping water directly next to or right onto the foundation of the home. It's good to have that water run out to further area and it's not just built out. So that leads to thinking about the grading of the property. You want to try to make sure that the grading is higher nearest the home and would make any water drain out away from the home and not stay pooled around the house. That's a big thing that you definitely want to pay attention to. And so while you're out, you can take a look at the air conditioning system. Here you've got pretty, doesn't look very old. I'm no HVAC professional or anything, but even just the simple appearance of the items is crucial. Sometimes you just look at one and that thing is old and will likely need to be replaced. So that's one thing. So taking a look at the equipment for the HVAC on the exterior is really important. Like I said, sometimes you can just tell certain things are super old. You got to keep that in mind that maybe you have to replace that soon, or you got to get it replaced right away, or maybe it could be something to be discussed as part of your offer on the home, obviously depending on the condition. And as always recommend to get inspections when you're purchasing a home so that you actually know the age and condition of the mechanicals. While you're outside, another thing you want to take a look at is just like all the borders and the surrounding around windows and doors. Just make sure that everything seems to be sealed up nicely. There's no cracks or maybe where there could be water intrusion. Remember, anytime there's like a change in like the siding to a window or to a door, there could be gaps. And so water could get into those gaps and really start to deteriorate that wood that's behind there, and you get wood rot and everything. Places that wood rot tend to be found very easily are the bottom of the door jambs and around windows. So definitely want to focus on those spots just to make sure there's nothing there. Again, you would get inspections, and they would know if you get some wood rot. But like I said, it's important for you to just kind of take advantage of being at the property and taking a look at a couple things yourself while you're there. Let's see. And on that note, while you look at windows and doors, you can obviously tell that if they're newer or older, and you probably get a better look at it when you're inside, but you can kind of already tell while you're out here in the first place. Let's see. So let's move on inside. There's a couple things that you want to make sure you look at as well. All right, so on the inside, while you're going through the home, you're looking at the doors, make sure they're mounted correctly, you're not having big gaps. You got to look at the windows. Here we have older wood sash windows that, you know, one, for the most part with a lot of these older homes, they aren't functioning anymore. They've probably been painted over. Sometimes you see people that caulk the windows to try to make it more efficient. They do have to function, right? They do have to function, especially if it's like a government loan. So like an FHA loan or a VA loan, that'll be important. Usually, I believe it has to have like a locking mechanism. I could be wrong there. But just, you know, it's good for you to know as well. Just if it doesn't have a locking mechanism, you probably want to get that added on. Now, obviously, in the Pensacola area, you would definitely want or prefer to have newer, updated windows that maybe they are impact windows, or if they aren't impact windows, they've been set up to have like hurricane shutters, the mounts along the outside of the window, because that is a big savings for insurance. And anything you can do to save some money on insurance is helpful, especially in Florida right now, which rates are pretty ridiculous. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Additionally, while you're walking around, take a look at, you want to look at your electrical outlets. A lot of times in older homes, you have just like the 2 prongs instead of the 3 prong that you always see, or that we see here specifically. You got the 3. If it's the 2 prong, it's because you probably have ungrounded electrical wiring in the home. Not ideal. Also, solvable. You don't necessarily have to do a rewire, but you can't just, you know, I've seen it. You can't just pull the 3rd prong off the thing you're trying to plug in and plug it into the 2. That's not a good thing to do. You definitely want to avoid doing that, and see what the proper solution is to upgrade the 2 prong outlets to a 3 prong outlet. And FYI, GFCIs can be a good solution for that. On that note, let's talk about electrical. You want to make sure that your breakers, you want to make sure that the breakers have been updated, right? So let's go take a peek. All right. So these are fuses. This is a fuse panel. These you just pull out. Those are the older type of panels that you would see. In most cases, you'll see that they've been updated to breakers, so that you'll have the actual circuit breakers that you're probably more commonly see, or that you're used to seeing, unless you go to a lot of older homes. The other type of panel that you want to avoid is the stab lock panels. I forget what the manufacturer is on those. Those are known to be, they're prone to having fires, because the mechanism for the breaker piece, the switch, I guess, the way it clicks in doesn't necessarily hold up over time. So stab lock panels specifically, if it says that on there, you want to get that looked into, and probably, well, you definitely want to get that replaced and updated to a newer breaker box. And then let's talk about, all right, another area you want to probably focus on in older homes is like the bathrooms, the kitchens, regarding plumbing and all of that. You tend to see more in the laundry room, just because sometimes it's an unfinished area. There's just a lot going on there. So you can see that's semi-upgraded at some point. There's PVC that's visible. So I guess this home has had some plumbing updates over time. Looks like someone tried to vent the dryer through the chimney stack in the past. Not recommended. You don't want to do that. You see the panel has, well, there's a lot of things. Kind of a mess, you know. And you don't want an open breaker like that. There should be covers for that sort of thing. And just small things to note. And I'm not saying you could fix that yourself or anything like that. It's not something you'd fix yourself. It's just little things to like kind of pay attention to, so that you know to either alert your inspector to take a better look at, or just be very cognizant to look at that section of the inspection report once the inspections are completed. Because there's a lot to know when these older homes. Sometimes they just go through partial updates between different owners, or people add on sections, or so a lot happens over the years in these older homes. So always important to know where there's changes, where you might need to do some updating, replacing, or just in general, just keep an eye on. And oftentimes you can get a lot done with just smaller corrections and updates. But then again, you might need to get like a full rewire or full replumbing of the home, that sort of thing. Like I said, older homes have a lot going on for them, so you need to keep an eye on that type of thing. You definitely want to look at the water heater and the interior portion of the HVAC as well. For water heaters in older homes, you might get lucky and the owner has already done an update. But little things to even look into there is maybe there's been a change from a previous gas water heater to now an electrical water heater. You just want to keep an eye on those sort of things as well. And maybe you want to go back to a gas water heater in the future, or a tankless gas water heater. Things like that. Just like I said, this entire process is really about knowing what you're getting into and being aware of things you may need to do or may want to do for future plans and updates. And yeah, so let's move on. So yeah, there's a lot to look at when you're considering buying an older home. These properties have, like I mentioned, gone through many different owners, some of which have done some repairs correctly, incorrectly. You just never know. So there's a lot to look at in new home or older homes. I mean, and yeah, so I wanted to kind of just do a quick view or quick video about this and share with you guys what I look at when I'm going through these homes, and what I recommend my buyers, or what I tend to point out when I'm looking at homes with them. So I'll see you at the next one. I hope this video was useful, and if you did, please comment, share, and let me know what you have found in some of these old homes. I mean, I've worked with a lot of investors, so occasionally we come across some pretty wild stuff. But for the most part, it's a lot of the same issues that you tend to come across. I hope this has been useful. I look forward to sharing more information with you all, and subscribe if you want more. See ya.